Very good morning to all. I hope you all are good and healthy. Welcome to the first lecture of Computer Science and IP. This lecture for 12th class only. In this lecture, we will cover the portion of Chapter 1, that is revision tool first. It's of chapter name. In this chapter, we will discuss basics of Python. Actually, we have already discussed these topics in 11th class. So this chapter topics are not new for you all. So let's begin the lecture. Please be focused. Tokens are lexical units. As you know, tokens are the smallest individual unit of the program. So here one more definitions. Individual elements that are identified by programming language are called tokens or lexical unit. So here is the graphical representation of types of tokens. As you know, tokens are of following types. The first one is keywords, second one is identifier, the third one is literals, fourth one is operators and punctuators. These are the tokens types. The first token is keywords. As you know, keywords are the reserved words. So here is the concept behind keywords. So keywords are also called as reserved words. These are having special meaning in Python language. The words are defined in Python interpreter, hence these can't be used as a programming identifier. Means we cannot use any keywords as an identifier. Some keywords of Python languages. We have already discussed some keywords like break, continue, def, else. So some are more here, so you can note it. So these are also examples of keywords. If, import, we have already discussed about if, import, is, not, or, print, while, try. So these are also example of keywords. So the second token is identifiers. What is an identifier? A Python identifier is a name given to a function, class, variable, module, or other object that you will be using in your Python program. In short, it's a name appeared in program. For example, A, B, C. Here is the three variables. A, B, C are the identifiers and A, B, C are the tokens. You can say A, B, C are the tokens. So Python naming convention. Before declaration of any variable or before definition of any variable, we need to know the identifiers rules or Python naming conventions behind identifiers. So the first rule is an identifier can be a combination of uppercase letters, lowercase letters, underscore symbols and digits, that is 0 to 9. Hence the following are valid identifiers like my class. Understanding why it is valid: my underscore variable, var underscore 1 and print underscore hello underscore word. These are the example of valid identifiers. The second rule is the first character must be a letter. As you know, we cannot start the variable name with any digit. So you need to take care the first character must be a letter. The third one is the special characters such as ampersand, at the rate and dollar are not allowed within identifiers. We cannot use these type of special characters for identifier naming. An identifier should not begin with a number, hence like 2 is a digit, 2 variable. It is a variable but it is not valid. It is a variable name but it is not valid. So you cannot, because we cannot start any variable name with a digit. So it's not a valid, but variable 2 is acceptable. So the next one is Python is a case sensitive language and this behavior extends to identifiers. Thus we can use two variables of same name but we can change the case. Suppose here one example, labor and labor. Here is a two variable name. The first variable start with capital letter and the second one is start with small letters. So both the variables having a different meaning. Means thus labor and labor are two distinct identifier in Python. You cannot use Python keyword as an identifier. Means we cannot choose any keyword for identifier name. You cannot use Python keywords as an identifier. You can use underscore symbols to separate multiple words in your identifier. So some valid identifiers examples are here, and some invalid identifiers examples are here. So these are the valid identifiers. Here some invalid identifier, because we cannot use any symbol between the word or characters. We cannot start any variable name with digits. Break is a keyword, elif is a keyword, false is a keyword, del is also a keyword. So these are the invalid identifiers. Literals or constant values. What is literals? Literals are also called as constant or constant values. These are the values which never change during the execution of the program. We cannot change the literals value. Types of literal or constant values. So there are different types of constant or literals. So the first one is string literal, numeric literals, Boolean literals, special literals like none. None is a special literal. Literal collections, we can say literal collection are the example of list, dictionaries, tuples, etc. String literals are constants. The sequence of letters enclosed in a quotes is called string or string literals or constant. Python supports both form of quotes, that is single quotes or double quote. Here is two example. The first string is in single quote, the second string is in double quotes. Both are string literals. Representation of a string. Here one example, s is equal to hello Python. So here is a string variable that holding a string, and how to access the element of a string. So this is how Python would index the string. There are two ways to index the string. The first one is forward indexing, and the last one is backward indexing. In forward indexing start with 0, end with length -1, means length of the string -1. Suppose the string length is 15, and so it will be the last element of the strings will be length -1. So 15 -1 is equal to 14. Representation of a string. To access the first characters, here is the representation of a string which is given in the previous slide. So to access the first character of the string you just created, type and enter the variable names and the index 0. Variable names yes and the index 0 within the square bracket like this. Yes, we can say yes of 0. You will get the first element of the string. So here you will get this output h, because it will start with 0 and it will start with h, and the h is stored on 0 index. You can access the last element. So it is very simple. You just use the last element index. So you know the total length of the string. So here s of len of s -1. So it will return the length of the string. So length of the string -1 is equal to the last element of the string. So you will get the last element, that is n. So len function is used to find the length of the string. Means with the help of len function we can access any string length. It is also very easy if you are following the backward reasoning. So you know the last element is on -1 position. So it's very simple. So you can use s -1. So it will return the last element. Types of string. There are two types of string literal. The first one is Python supports two ways of representation of strings. The first one is single line string and the last one is multi-line string. Single line string. Strings created using single quotes or double quotes must be ended in one line or called single line string. For example, item is a variable and it is stored as string in double quotes. Or one more example, item is a variable and it is also holding a string value. This string is in single quote. Multi-line string. Strings created using single quotes or double quotes and spread across multi-lines are called multi-line strings. By adding backslash, you can continue to type on next line. For example, item is equal to in single quote key. Here backslash provide a facility by which you can create multiple lines. So the next line is the boards. So when you display the item, so it will display two line. The first line, in the first line key, and the next line board. You can count the size. You know how to means in size of a string, how to know the size of a string. So here are some example, like one string ABC, so it's holding 3, the size, because one character holding 1 byte, the size of the string is 1 byte. Here is backslash, it's escape sequences, so it will it is not a it will not hold any size. So AB, that's why the size of this string is 2. So here is some example, through that you can predict the size of a string. String with triple quotes. You can create multiple line string with the help of triple quote also. For multi-line strings created by triple quotes, while calculating size, the end of line, that is EOL, character at the end of line is also counted. For example, str2 is a variable. It holds a string of triple quotes. So X enter, Y enter Z. So here is the 3 characters, and there are 2 escape sequences, that is line change is escape sequence here. So the total length of this string is 5. Here are some example of escape sequences: backslash, single quotes, double quotes, ASCII bell, ASCII backspace, ASCII form feed, new line, carriage return, horizontal tab, vertical tab, octal values. These are the escape sequences. These are the examples of escape sequences. Numerical literal. Numerical literals have the following types: int are integers, whole numbers are integer literals, float real numbers, numbers with fractional parts are real numbers, that is floating point literals, complex numbers, any scientific values like square root, these are the complex numbers. Floating point literals are constant. Floating point literals are also called as real literals having fractional parts. These may be written in one of the two forms, the fractional form. For example, 15.75 exponent form. It consists of 2 parts, that is mantissa and exponent. For example, 5.8 can be represented as 0.58 into 10 to the power minus 1. The 0.58 E01, where mantissa part is 0.58 and E01 is the exponent part. We have already discussed in 11th class. Boolean literals are constant. A Boolean literals in Python is used to represent the Boolean value, that is true or false. So we can store true or false in any variables. It will return true or false only. So here one example: x is equal to true, then print the value of x, so it will return true. Special literal, I have already told the special literal category is the none. The none literal is used to indicate absence of values. If you suppose any variable holding none, so means there is no memory, there will be no memory for that variable, for this variable. So none, if you are initializing any variable with none, so it will never allocate any memory in the computer. Literal collections. Python supports literal collections such as tuple and list, etc. It will be too complex to discuss, as we have already discussed these. So in next topic we will discuss. So here is so you can say the examples of literal collections: list, tuples and dictionaries. Operators. What is an operator? Operators are the tokens that trigger some computation when applied to a variable. Punctuators. Punctuators are also called as separators. The followings are used as punctuators: brackets, parentheses, braces, comma, semicolon, colon, asterisk, ellipsis, equal signs, pound sign, that is hash symbol. These are the example of punctuators. White spaces is a meaningful in Python, especially indentation and placement of new lines. Use a new line to end a line of code. Use backslash when must go to the next line prematurely. No braces to mark blocks of code in Python, because we are using indentation, space indentation for blocks. Use consistent indentation instead. The first line with less indentation is outside of the block. The first line with more indentation starts a nested block. We have already discussed these topics, so how to make nested block a single block. Often a colon appears at the start of a new block. That is for example for function and class definition. You know functions only, you don't know about class, so we will discuss in this session. Comments, how to use comment in our program. Comments are non-executable statements in a program. That is, there are two types of comment we can use. The first one is single line comment, always start with hash symbol. The next one is multi-line comment, will be in triple quotes. For example, triple quote, write a program to find the simple interest. So it's a multi-line comment. Yeah, you can say doc string comments. So now this lecture is finished here. I hope you all are getting my point. So please take care. Please take care. Don't go anywhere. Stay at your home and please be focused. Thank you. We will discuss the next topic to the next lecture. Thank you so much.